إذا كنت تريد أن تكون على مذهب السلف تعلم مذهب السلف.
إن شاء الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Firstly, I apologize to the brothers who are supposed to do fiqh, but my book is still being sent from Saudi. So the fiqh book that I wanted to go through is not with me. So instead, we're just going to focus on the other component of the lesson, which was the aqeedah component. And we're going to start off with an important issue in aqeedah. And some of the ulama have classed it as the most important issue in aqeedah. And that is the believers seeing Allah yawm al-qiyamah. Yeah? Ru'yatul mu'minin rabbahum yawm al-qiyamah. And we're going to use and quote some text from Ibn Al-Qayyim, explained by Shaykh Rabī, hafidhahullah, with regards to this issue. And we're going to go through the evidences in establishing the fact that the believers will see Allah yawm al-qiyamah. Yeah, and we're gonna dissect those evidences and go through it in more detail and explain it. Yeah. So we start with the statement of Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah, حيث قال, and it's taken from a book that he's written, by the way, in Aqeedah, and this is a section of it, which is with regards to seeing Allah. So he mentions this section. He said, هذا الباب أشرف أبواب الكتاب, that this chapter is the most virtuous of all the chapters regarding his book, talking about his book in Aqeedah. وَأَجَلُّهَا قَدْرًا, and is the most lofty in its status, yeah, referring to the chapter of seeing Allah. وَعَلَاهَا خَطْرًا, and it is the greatest of it in terms of danger. Yeah. وَأَقَرُّهَا لِعُيُونِ أَهْلِ السُّنَّةِ وَالْجَمَاعَةِ وَأَشَدُّهَا عَلَى أَهْلِ الْبِدْعَةِ وَالضَّلَالَةِ. Yeah, and it's the most comforting to the eyes of Ahl Al-Sunnah wal-Jamā'ah, this chapter. And it was the most severe against Ahl Al-Bid'ati wal-Dalalah, the people of innovations and misguidance. وهي الغاية التي شمر إليها المشمرون وتنافس فيها المتنافسون وتسابق إليها المتسابقون ولمثلها فليعمل العاملون. And it is the purpose that those who desire it incline towards, and those who strive work towards, and the competitors compete for. وَلِمِثْلِهَا فَلْيَعْمَلْ الْعَامِلُونَ. So for it's like, let those who strive and work hard put forth work hard and strive. إِذَا نَالَهُ أَهْلُ الْجَنَّةِ نَسُوا مَا هُمْ فِيهِ مِنَ النَّعِيمِ وحرمانه والحجاب عنه لأهل الجحيم أشد عليه من عذاب الجحيم. So if the people of paradise, Ahl al-Jannah, achieve this, meaning the sighting of Allah, being able to see Allah, then they will forget that which they are in from bliss. And its prevention and being blocked from it, referring to the people of the fire, is more severe upon them than the actual punishment itself. Subhanallah. Yeah, so them being prevented from seeing Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah is more severe upon them than the actual punishment in and of itself. And this is why the ulama have considered that this chapter, and Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah says that this chapter is the most virtuous of these chapters and the most important of them, because due to these factors. Yeah.
Who says that?
Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah. This is from his speech. This is the speech of Ibn Al-Qayyim now that we're talking about. And then he goes on to say, اتفق عليها الأنبياء والمرسلون وجميع الصحابة والتابعون وإمة الإسلام على تتابع القرون. Yeah, that is agreed upon. This affair of seeing Allah is agreed upon by the prophets and the messengers, and all of the Sahaba and those who followed them from the Tabi'een. وَإِمَّةُ الْإِسْلَامِ, and the Imams of Al-Islam, عَلَى تَتَابِعِ الْقُرُونَ, and the generations that followed after them. Yeah, so that's a brief introduction to the chapter itself and the reasons why this chapter is considered one of the most important chapters when it comes to the aqeedah of Ahl Al-Sunnah wal Jamā'ah. This is why we chose to begin with it likewise, because it's one of the most important and virtuous of the chapters in regards to the aqeedah of Ahl Al-Sunnah wal Jamā'ah. طيب, so Shaykh Rabī Hafidhullah now is explaining that muqaddimah, that introduction from Ibn Qayyim. And he says, فَأَهْلُ السُّنَّةِ وَالْجَمَاعَةِ لَمَّا يَقْرَؤُونَ فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ وفي سنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وفي كلام السلف أنهم يرون ربهم فترتاح نفوسهم وتقر عيونهم لأنهم آمنوا بأنهم يرون الله تبارك وتعالى. And he said, so as for Ahl Al-Sunnah wal Jamā'ah, he says that when they read into the book of Allah and into the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and in the statements of the Salaf that they will see their Lord, then their soul and themselves become at ease. And likewise, their eyes become comforted. Because they believe, they firmly believe, that they will actually see Allah Yawm Al-Qiyamah. They believe in it. فَتَشْتَاقُ نُفُوسُهُمْ إِلَى اللَّهِ. So their souls yearn towards seeing Allah, towards this great virtue which is seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, يعني أهل النفوس الكبيرة والعلماء الراسخون يؤمنون بالجنة ونفوسهم تشتاق إليها. So he said that the أهل النفوس الكبيرة والعلماء الراسخون, they're the people who have great virtue and the ulama who are firmly grounded in ilm, in knowledge, that they believe firmly in Jannah and that their souls incline towards it and yearn towards achieving Jannah and being entered into Jannah. وَلَكِنْ شَوْقُهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ أَعْظَمُ. But their yearning towards their Lord and seeing their Lord is greater. Yani greater than the average person. Those ulama who are firmly grounded in ilm, that their yearning towards achieving this virtue and towards seeing Allah and towards their Lord in general is greater than the average person. وَتَنَافُسُهُمْ فِيمَا يُوصِلُهُمْ إِلَى هَذِهِ الْمَنْزِلَةِ وهي رؤية الله التي يتنافسون فيها أعظم وأعظم. And their striving in all that which will connect them to this great station, which is Jannah, and which is also seeing Allah Yawm Al-Qiyamah, in which the people strive towards, is greater and greater. Yani greater than the average person. فشمروا لها يا معشر المؤمنين بكتاب الله وبسنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وبهذه المزية العظيمة وهي رؤيته سبحانه وتعالى. So then Shaykh Rabī Hafidhullah goes on to mention, he says, so aspire towards it, O believers, O group of believers, aspire towards it, towards seeing Allah. Yeah, O group of believers who believe in Allah and believe in the Sunnah of His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and believe in this tremendous privilege which is seeing Allah Yawm Al-Qiyamah. So strive towards it. This is the advice of Shaykh Rabī mentioning, to strive, for us to strive towards this great and tremendous privilege. Then he goes on to mention, وَحَالَ الْإِنسَانُ عندما يرى إماما عظيما خليفة راشدا يرى هذا سعادة عظيمة فكيف برؤية الله عز وجل. So he goes on to mention, he says, and it occurs to a person that when he sees a great imam or a person who's in charge, a person of position, then he has immense happiness towards seeing this person. So how about him seeing his Lord? How would he feel with regards to seeing his Lord who created him? Then he goes on to explain, وقوله وأقرها لعيون أهل السنة والجماعة وأشدها على أهل البدعة والضلالة. And it is a comfort, يعني this knowing or knowing that we will see Allah is a comfort to the eyes of Ahl Al-Sunnah wal Jamā'ah. And it is severe against Ahl Al-Bid'ati wal Dalala, against the people of innovation and misguidance. Severe against them because they don't believe in it.
Could you say that chapter, that paragraph again?
Yep, so وأقرها لعيون أهل السنة والجماعة. And it is more comforting to the eyes of Ahl Al-Sunnah wal Jamā'ah. وأشدها على أهل البدعة والضلالة. And it is the most severe against the people of innovation and misguidance.
You starting at the top?
No, from يعني هذه المسألة رؤية الله عز وجل مما تقر به أعين أهل السنة وفيها غيظ لمن لا يؤمن بالرؤية. Yeah, so this issue, the issue of seeing Allah, is from those things that comfort the eyes or bring comfort to the eyes of Ahl Al-Sunnah wal Jamā'ah. That comforts the believers. And within it is despite for the one who doesn't believe in seeing Allah. That they despise it. And we're going to cover and come to more detail in that later, that they despise it. And they try to find the ways around these evidences that prove that the believers will see Allah yawm al-Qiyamah. That they have despite for it, they have hatred for it. يَسْتَاءُونَ جِدًّا حِينَمَا يَمُرُّونَ عَلَى آيَاتِ الصِّفَاتِ. Yeah, that they have great resentment when they come across in the Quran the ayat that are pertaining to the attributes of Allah. Yeah, that they have resentment for those ayat. وَيَتَمَلْمَلُونَ مِنْهَا, and they become agitated by it. Yeah, they dislike it, they become agitated by it. مساكين. Shaykh calls them مساكين. لأنها ضد منهجهم وعقائدهم. Because it is against their manhaj and their aqidah. Yeah, so they despise it because it's in opposition to what they are upon from misguidance. And then the Shaykh goes on to Majid, said, وَأَنَا جَلَسْتُ فِي مَجْلِسٍ يَقْرَؤُونَ فِيهِ كِتَابَ التَّوْحِيدِ مِنْ صَحِيحِ البخاري والله الذي لا إله إلا هو يقرؤون وكأنهم يمرون بطريق خطر هاربون. So he said that he sat, the Shaykh is mentioning, Rabī Hafidhullah is mentioning that I sat in a gathering and they were reading in it Kitab al-Tawheed, the chapter of Tawheed from Sahih Bukhari. And he said, by Allah, it is as if that they are crossing past or going past a path that is dangerous, a dangerous path. Yeah, هاربون, fleeing. ما يريدون أن يفهموا معاني هذه النصوص. They do not want to understand the meanings behind these texts. يقرؤون البخاري للبركة فقط. That they read Bukhari just for barakah, just for blessings, without actually contemplating and understanding the actual meaning behind the ahadith. نعم لا يريدون أن يتفقهوا فيه. They do not want to gain understanding from it. ولا يريدون أن يأخذوا منه العقائد التي تدل عليها النصوص النبوة. They do not want to take from it their aqidah, in which the text or the prophetic texts in Sahih Bukhari indicate and mention about the aqidah. They do not want to take from it. They do not want to adopt it as their own aqidah. نعم والمعتزلة والجهمية وغيرهم من الباطنية وغيرهم يستاءون جدا من نصوص رؤية الله عز وجل. So he mentions the Mu'tazila and the Jahmiyyah and other than them from the Batiniyah and other than them from the people of misguidance and innovation generally, that they have resentment for the text, specifically when it comes to mentioning seeing Allah. Now we're going to go into the first proof that's mentioned in the Quran regarding seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, and we're going to break it down. And Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he mentions 7 points, or he extracts 7 points from this ayah itself, from this one ayah itself. He extracts 7 points, 7 places where it actually indicates and is a proof for Ahl Al-Sunnah wal Jamā'ah that they will see their Lord. SubhanAllah, look at the fiqh of the ulama, the understanding Allah has given them. That one ayah, and he's able to dissect it and to bring 7 places from that one particular ayah, 7 indications, evidences that prove that the believers will actually see their Lord on Yawm al-Qiyamah. نعم, so he goes, وَقَدْ أَخْبَرَ اللَّهُ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى عَنْ أَعْلَمِ الْخَلْقِ بِهِ فِي زَمَانِهِ وهو كليمه ونجيه وصفيه من أهل الأرض أنه سأل ربه تعالى النظر إليه فقال له ربه تبارك وتعالى قال لن تراني ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني فلما تجلى ربه للجبل جعله دكا. The ayah. It's the ayah, yeah? The ayah in which Musa alayhi salam, the one in which Allah spoke to, that he asked Allah to reveal himself to him. And Allah said that you shall not see me. لَن تَرَانِ, you shall not see me. But look onto the mountain. And if it remains firm in its place, then you shall be able to see me. فَلَمَّا تَجَلَّى رَبُّهُ لِلْجَبْرِ جَعْلَهُ دَكَّا. So when his Lord revealed himself to the mountain, he rendered it level. He rendered it level. And the mountain crumbled. طيب وبيان الدلالة من هذه الآية من وجوه عديدة. So the evidence, how we extract now the evidence from this ayah is from many different angles. Al-Qayyim mentioned 7 here. 7 different angles of how this ayah is an actual proof that the believers will see Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah, and how it's a refutation against those who deny it, and how the bid'ah wa dalalah, the people of misguidance, innovation, use this same ayah to try to prove that we will not see Allah, but in reality is in opposition as a refutation against them. I'm going to discuss that further. So أحدها, this is the first angle in which this ayah is a proof. The first angle. أنه لا يظن بكليم الرحمن ورسوله الكريم أن يسأل ربه ما لا يجوز عليه بل هو من أبطل الباطل وأعظم المحال. That is not to be thought that the one in which Allah spoke to, referring to Musa, the one in which Ar-Rahman spoke to, and his messenger, his beloved messenger, that he would ask his Lord something that was not befitting for him to do. In fact, it is from the greatest of falsehoods and the most severe of impossibilities that this Nabi, Al-Jalil, Musa alayhi salam, would ask his Lord to do something which he knows himself is impossible for his Lord to do. How is this possible? When he is from the greatest of the messengers, and he has the most knowledge about Allah, is the most knowledgeable of the creation, especially in his time regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he would actually ask his Lord to do something that is not possible for him to do. How is this possible? How is this speech possible? No. So that's the first angle. The second angle, or the second evidence from this ayah that he extracts from this ayah, Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he says, الوجه الثاني أن الله سبحانه وتعالى لم ينكر عليه سؤاله. And this is very important, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't reprimand him for him asking that question. Allah never reprimanded him, He never rebuked him. And if it was something that was impossible or not befitting for Allah to do, He would have reprimanded him. نعم ولو كان محالا لأنكره عليه ولهذا لما سأل إبراهيم الخليل ربه تبارك وتعالى أن يريه كيف يحيي الموتى لم ينكر عليه. And for this reason, likewise, that when Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he asked his Lord to show him how you bring life to the dead, Ibrahim alayhi salam in the Quran, that he asked Allah to show him how you bring life to the dead, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't make inkar upon Ibrahim alayhi salam, that He never rebuked him or reprimanded him for asking this question. Instead, Allah showed him how He gives life to the dead, as is mentioned in the ayah. ولما سأل عيسى بن مريم ربه إنزال المائدة من السماء لم ينكر سؤاله. And likewise, when Isa ibn Maryam, when he asked his Lord to send down the table from the sky, that Allah didn't rebuke him or didn't reprimand him for him asking this question. And because they knew that all of this is capable for Allah to do. And if it was something that Allah was incapable of, they would never have asked him. Because they are the most knowledgeable of Allah from the creation. The Anbiya al-Mursalun, the prophets and messengers, they're the most knowledgeable of Allah from His creation. So if it had been something that was impossible for Allah to do, incapable of Allah doing, they would never have asked Him in the first place. Then he goes on to mention, وَلَمَّا سَأَلَ نُوحُ رَبَّهُ نَجَاةَ ابْنِهِ أَنْكَرَ عَلَيْهِ سُؤَالَهُ. So now when Nuh, he asked his Lord to save his son, to save his own son at the time of the flood, that Allah rebuked him and reprimanded him for this. وَقَالَ إِنِّي أَعِذُكَ أَن تَكُونَ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Allah said to him that I am admonishing you that you do not become from the ignorant ones. قَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي أَعُوذُ بِكَ أَن أَسْأَلَكَ مَا لَيْسَ لِي بِهِ عِلْمٍ. This was, listen to Nuh's reply, which within it is an evidence in itself, that he said, "O my Lord, that I seek refuge with you, that I would ask you for something that I do not have knowledge of." وإلا تغفر لي وترحمني أكن من الخاسرين. So that was the second point. Now the third angle, al-wajh al-thalith, the third angle or the third way that this ayah, this one ayah is an evidence within itself that the believers will see Allah yawm al-qiyamah. أنه أجابه بقوله لن تراني ولم يقل لا تراني ولا إني لست بمرئي ولا تجوز رؤيتي. That Allah actually responded to his statement with what? You shall not see me. You shall not see me. And he didn't say that you will not see me and I am not something to be seen. I'm not something that can be seen and it's not possible for me to be seen. That Allah responded to him with, you shall not see me. لن تراني. والفرق بين الجوابين ظاهر لمن تأمله. And the difference between the two statements is clear for the one who contemplates upon it. وهذا يدل على أنه سبحانه وتعالى يرى ولكن موسى لا تحتمل قواه رؤيته في هذه الدار لضعف قوة البشر فيها عن رؤيته تعالى. نعم. So he says then that this in itself is an evidence that Allah is able to be seen. Because he said that you shall not see me. But he didn't reply with, I am not able to be seen. So that in itself is an evidence that Allah is able to be seen. But Musa is not able to see him in this life. Will not be able to bear seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life due to the weakness of man. Due to the weakness of man. So that is the third angle or the third point. The fourth point, الوجه الرابع وهو قوله ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني. But look to the mountain, and if it stays firm in its place, then you shall see me. Then you shall see me. فأعلمه أن الجبل مع قوته وصلابته لا يثبت لتجليه له في هذه الدار فكيف بالبشر الضعيف الذي خلق من ضعف. So Allah showed him that the mountain, even with its strongness and its hardness, that is firm, a mountain is firm, that is not able to remain firm when Allah reveals himself to it in this world. So how about a man? How about a person or human beings who are weak and have been created from weakness, created with a weakness? Now, and the fifth point or the fifth angle, and don't worry if these are going too fast for you, Shaykh Rabī' Hafidhullah then goes on to explain these angles again in more and further detail. So we're going to go back over these angles as well with more clarification to them. Yeah, we're going to go back over them. الوجه الخامس إن الله سبحانه وتعالى قادر على أن يجعل الجبل مستقرا مكانه وليس هذا بممتنع في مقدوره بل هو ممكن. So the fifth point is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of making the mountain remain firm in its place. Is Allah not capable of doing that? The one who created the mountains, is He not capable of making it remain firm in its place? And it's not something that is impossible or beyond Allah's capability. بل هو ممكن is something that is possible. وقد علق بها الرؤيا, and Allah connected or tied it to Him being seen. That if this mountain remains in place, that you will see me. ولو كانت محالا في ذاتها لم يعلقها بالممكن في ذاته. And if it was something that was impossible in and of itself, يعني meaning seeing Allah, if it was something that was impossible in and of itself, then He would not have linked it or connected it to something that was possible, يعني meaning the mountain remaining firm in place. Yeah, makes sense? We're going to go back over these points as well in more detail. طيب, the sixth point, or the sixth angle, الوجه السادس قوله سبحانه وتعالى فَلَمَّا تَجَلَّى رَبُّهُ لِلْجَبَلِ جَعَلَهُ دَكًّا. That when Allah revealed Himself to the mountain, He rendered it level. وهذا من أبين الأدلة على جواز رؤيته تبارك وتعالى. And this is from the most clearest of evidences is from the most clearest of evidences upon the capability or the possibility of seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From the most clearest of evidences, because Allah actually revealed himself to the mountain. فإنه إذا جاز أن يتجلى للجبل الذي هو جمال لا ثواب له ولا عقاب فكيف يمتنع أن يتجلى لأنبيائه ورسله وأوليائه في دار كرامته. So if it is possible for Allah to reveal himself to this mountain that is an object, it has no recompense, it is an object, it's only an object, it's a mountain, then how is it impossible for Allah to reveal himself to his prophets and messengers يوم القيامة and the believers likewise. ويريهم نفسه فأعلم سبحانه وتعالى موسى أن الجبل إذا لم يثبت لرؤيته في هذه الدار فالبشر أضعف. Now, so Allah showed Musa that this mountain, if it is not able to remain firm due to seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah revealing himself onto the mountain, then how about a human being who is weaker than the mountain? How would he be able to handle it and to bear that sighting? Al-Wajh al-Sabi', the seventh angle, the seventh point on how this is an evidence for seeing Allah. أن ربه سبحانه وتعالى قد كلمه منه إليه وخاطبه وناجاه وناداه. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to him from it and addressed him and saved him and called out to him. ومن جاز عليه التكلم والتكليم وأن يسمع مخاطبه كلامه معه بغير واسطة فرؤيته أولى بالجواز. Subhanallah. So he said that the one who makes capable Allah being able to talk and being able to be spoken to and to listen to the one who he is addressing without any intermediate between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the one who he is speaking to, which is Musa alayhi salam, then his sighting is first and foremost of being capable. Then seeing him is first and foremost in terms of capability, then him being able to speak and be spoken to. And we're gonna discuss that in a bit further when Shaykh Rabī Hafidhullah explains it in more detail. But for now, these are just the general points, the 7 general points. And we'll go over them in more detail. نعم. طيب. ولهذا لا يتم إنكار الرؤية إلا بإنكار التكليم. وقد جمعت هذه الطوائف بين إنكار الأمرين. So he says that it is not possible to negate Allah being seen except with negating him being able to speak. And that these tawa'if, these deviated groups, have gathered between these two evil affairs. Yeah? That they in denial, or they in denial of these two affairs. The fact that Allah can speak, be spoken to, and his words can be heard, and the fact that he can be seen. That they have combined it between these two affairs, denying these two tremendous affairs. فأنكروا أن يكلم أحدا أو يراه أحد. Yeah, so they have denied that anyone can speak to him and anyone can see him. ولهذا سأله موسى عليه السلام النظر إليه وأسمعه كلامه وعلم نبي الله جواز رؤيته من وقوع خطابه وتكليمه. So he says, and for this reason that Musa عليه السلام asked or requested to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that he heard his speech. وعلم نبي الله جواز رؤيته من وقوع خطابه وتكليمه. That the Prophet of Allah, Musa alayhi salam, that he knew the possibility of seeing Allah from the occurrence of him being able to speak to his Lord and be addressed by his Lord. So his Lord addressing him and him speaking to his Lord, that he knew the possibility and he was aware of the possibility of seeing Allah, and this is why that he asked to see him. وَلَمْ يُخْبِرْهُ بِاسْتِحَالَةِ ذَلِكَ عَلَيْهِ. That Allah did not inform him of this being something that is impossible, like we mentioned previously in the first point. وَلَكِنْ أَرَاهُ أَنَّ مَا سَأَلَهُ لَا يَقْدِرُ عَلَى احْتِمَالِهِ كَمَا لَمْ يَثْبُتْ الْجَبَلِ لِتَجَلِّهِ. But Allah showed him that what you are asking from me is something that will not happen or not occur upon your own assumption, upon the way you assume it would occur. Meaning you'll not be able to handle and to burden the sight of Allah. Just like the Jabal was not able to, even though it is strong and firmly rooted, that it was not able to bear that sight, the seeing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how about an individual or a person?
Sorry. So we're not able to see Allah. What was that under our own conception?
It was Musa's perception. Right. That Musa believed, or the capability, that he may be able to see Allah, he may be able to handle seeing Allah. And Allah showed him that he is not able to do that due to the weakness of mankind and how we've been created weak in comparison to a mountain which is firmly rooted, and the mountain was not able to bear that burden of seeing Allah. So how about a human being? How about a person? What would happen to them? If the mountain was rendered level, what would happen to a person who is weaker than that mountain? وَأَمَّا قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى لَن تَرَانِي فَإِنَّمَا يَدُلُّ عَلَى النَّفِي فِي الْمُسْتَقْبَلِ وَلَا يَدُلُّ عَلى دَوَامِ النَّفِي. And this is a point that is very important, and it is the same point that the people of innovation, this is what they try to use from this ayah. Like I mentioned before previously, they use this same ayah to try to justify their aqidah, their own belief that we will not see Allah, and it is not possible to see Allah. And this is the point that they use. They use the word because Allah mentioned lan tarani, you shall not see me. And they say that this word lan, that it indicates something that is persistent in its negation. It's negation that is ongoing, that is persistent, that you will never be able to see me. So they use the word never, that Allah can never be seen, which is not the intent. And as the Shaykh mentions, that إِنَّمَا يَدُلُّ عَلَى النَّفِي فِي الْمُسْتَقْبَلِ, it only signifies a negation of the future, or something that will occur in the future, but doesn't mean that it can never happen, or that it is not possible, or it cannot occur. Yeah, and this is from the language perspective, and this is what Shaykh Rabī is going to go into more detail in, about the language perspective, how even the language, subhanAllah, refutes them, and they try to use it for their own means, their own gains, to justify their own false aqidah, and the language itself refutes them. Now, and this is one of the points he mentions, how it does. وَلَوْ قَيِّدَتْ بِالتَّأْبِيد, and even if it is affixed with something that is persistent, يعني أبدا, never. The word أبدا, as is come in another ayah, where it says وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا. Look at the fiqh, the istinbat, the istidlal of the ulama, how they're able to go back to the nusus, back to the text, back to the Quran, and find another ayah in which has a similar use of the word, and use it to refute them and to show them that in fact what you're trying to use as a proof and an indication to justify your own aqidah is in fact mentioned in another ayah, and it refutes you, it's against you. Why? And listen to this, it's very important. وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا, that Allah says, and they will never wish for it ever, talking about death. This ayah is referring to the Jews and the Christians, that they would never wish for it, death. They never wish for themselves death. You're thinking, how is that a proof? Likewise, Allah used the word lan. He says lan, وَلَنْ يَتَمَنَّوهُ, abadan, and Allah used the word abadan. So two negations. The word lan is a negation, and abadan is also a negation, never. Yeah, وَلَنْ يَتَمَنَّوهُ abadan, they will never wish for it, ever. Then he brings an ayah, another ayah, and this is the main shahid, the main point, that shows that the lan here doesn't mean ta'bid, doesn't mean a negation that is persistent, that it will never occur. Because he brings an ayah that mentions in the hereafter, what will happen? وَنَادَوْا يَا مَالِكُ لِيَقْضِي عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ, that they will call out to the Malik, to the angel, and they will say to him, to tell your Lord to put an end to us. What are they doing now? They're wishing for death. They're wishing for death. Even though Allah mentions وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوهُ أَبَدًا, that they will never wish for it, meaning death. They will never wish for it. However, in the hereafter, what are they doing? They are wishing for it. So, Ahl al-Bid'ah wal-Dalalah, people of innovation and misguidance, they try to say that this lan tarani that Allah mentioned, that you will not see me, you shall not see me. They try to say that this lan here means it will never happen in this dunya and the hereafter. It can never take place. But here we have another ayah that the Shaykh mentioned that shows that meaning or the way that they're trying to use that word is false. Because وَلَنْ يَتَمَنَّوهُ أَبَدًا, that they will never wish for it. Meaning in this dunya, they will never wish for it. But in the hereafter, they're calling out to the angel, لِيَقَضِ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ, tell your Lord to put an end to us, yani to destroy us, to kill us off. So therefore, what are they doing? They're wishing for it. So that shows that even in the linguistic sense, that the use of the word lan that they're trying to say, that if Allah, what they try to say is that the word lan, it applies to the dunya and the hereafter. So when Allah said, lan tarani, you shall not see me, they say that applies to this dunya and the hereafter. This is what they say. So Allah cannot be seen in this dunya and in the hereafter likewise. But the Quran itself refutes that and refutes the use of that word in that context. Because وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوهُ أَبَدًا, Allah has not just used the word lan here. Allah has not just said وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوهُ, that they will not wish for it. Allah said never, abada. So there's two negations there. They will never wish for it, ever. So two negations. However, we find in the hereafter that rule does not apply. It does not apply to them. Because now they are calling out to the angel, لِيَقْضِي عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ, tell your Lord to put an end to us. So they are wishing for death in the hereafter. Even though Allah has mentioned that in the dunya, they will never wish for it. Meaning in the dunya, it applies to the dunya. And likewise when Allah said, لَن تَرَانِي, that you shall not see me, its application is for the dunya. As we're going to come to later as well, its application is for the dunya. And not for the hereafter. So their use of this, or trying to use this as an evidence, is false. And look at the istinbat and istidlal of the ulama, of the likes of Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, how he's able to go back to the text itself, the nusus, go back to the Quran and derive that and show and prove that the angle that they're trying to come from is batil, is false, and use another ayah to refute that and to show that is false. SubhanAllah. And this is the fiqh that Allah has given to the ulama, that they're able to look into the texts and they're able to refute the people of batil and falsehood using the text of the Quran against them, and their own principles and their own understanding against them. And likewise, this same ayah, the ayah that we're explaining, is the same ayah that the people of innovation and misguidance use and refer to as a proof, try to use as a proof for themselves, to deny the seeing of Allah. And this is how they do it. And we're going to go into more detail of that later, and how they try to use this along with other texts as a proof for them, but in reality it is against them. And this is why we're going to mention later Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, ajib, amazing. He's come up with a qa'idah, he's come up with a principle. And if there's one thing that we take from this dars today, is this principle. This principle is amazing. And wallahi fi'lan is haqq, it's reality. Ibn Qayyim says, ما من نص يستدل به أهل الباطل من القرآن أو من صحيح السنة يستدلون به على باطلهم إلا وفي هذا النص ما يدل على بطلان مذهبهم. Subhanallah. This qa'idah is a tremendous principle Ibn Qayyim brings. He said that there is not a text that the people of falsehood try to use or use as an evidence from the Quran or from the authentic Sunnah, that they use and try to affirm as an evidence for their batil, for their falsehood, except in that same text is an evidence that refutes their falsehood. Subhanallah. Look at that. The fiqh, the understanding of Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, how he's able to take this principle. Wallahi, is qa'idah azima. عظيمة جدا. If there's one thing that we take from today, is this قاعدة and فعلا is حق, that everything that the people of innovation and misguidance try to come with from textual evidences that they try to use from the Quran, from the authentic Sunnah, that we find within that same text is an evidence against them. In that very same text is an evidence that exposes and refutes the same batil and falsehood that they are trying to come with. And this is a perfect example of it, as we explained, that they try to use this ayah, this same ayah, as an evidence for their misguidance. Yet within that same ayah, we've just established 7 angles. Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah has mentioned 7 angles in which that same ayah that they use is actually a proof against them and a proof against their batil and against their falsehood. Look at this qaida azima, tremendous principle Ibn Al-Qayyim brings rahimahullah. So now that's the sharh, the explanation of Ibn Al-Qayyim. Now we're going to go into what Shaykh Rabī' has explained and elaborated further upon. So Shaykh Rabī' now has explained and elaborated further upon Ibn Al-Qayyim's speech and further upon those principles, so we can fully understand those angles that were mentioned just now, because they were mentioned in brief. Shaykh Rabī' hafidhullah now is going to elaborate on that. Stop for salah. طيب خلاص. Inshallah we'll stop for salah, and after that we can go on to mention Shaykh Rabi''s explanation of those angles in more detail that he brings. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Okay, so now we're going to go back to Shaykh Rabī' Hafidhullah's explanation and his elaboration on those previous points mentioned by Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, those 7 angles that were mentioned by Ibn Qayyim. Now Shaykh Rabī' Hafidhullah is explaining it in more detail. Yeah? So first of all he says فهذه الآية التي استدل بها الإمام ابن قيم رحمه الله على جواز رؤية الله في الدار الآخرة من 7 أوجه هي متعلقات من ينكر الرؤية. So he says that this ayah, in which Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned and used as an evidence or brought forward as an evidence for the permissibility or for the capability of seeing Allah in the hereafter from these 7 angles, then this ayah itself is something which those who make inkar and deny the ru'ya, the seeing of Allah, that they cling to. Yeah, so they cling to this ayah as previously mentioned. The people of falsehood, they cling to this ayah as if it is an evidence for them. But what we've already established, I'm going to establish further from those 7 angles, is it is in fact an evidence against them. Yeah. So he says يتعلق بها المعتزلة والخوارج وغيرهم الذين ينكرون رؤية الله عز وجل بهذه الآية. Yeah, so the Mu'tazila cling firm to it, and the Khawarij and other than them from the deviated groups, that they cling firm to this ayah. قالوا قال لموسى لن تراني, and they say that he said to Musa, you will not see me. ولن عندهم للنفي المؤبد, and this word لن to them or to their understanding is something that is an eternal negation. Like we mentioned before, it's a negation that is used for eternity in this life and the hereafter according to them. That's what they say this word لن means. So the Shaykh says وَهَذَا كَذِبٌ عَلَى اللُّغَةِ وَعَلَى الْقُرْآنِ, that is a lie against the language itself, the Arabic language, and against the Quran. لَيْسَ بِصَحِيحٍ مَا يَدَّعُونَهُ فاستخرج أئمة السنة من هذه الآية جواز رؤية الله من هذه الوجوه التي ذكرها الإمام ابن القيم رحمه الله ونعم الفقه. نعم. So he says that this is not correct, what they attribute. And the A'immat al-Sunnah, the Imams of the Sunnah, have gathered or taken from this ayah the possibility and the capability of seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from these same angles that Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned. And he goes on, وَنِعْمَ الْفِقْهِ, what a blessed fiqh this is understanding. وَهَذا وَاللَّهِ هُوَ الْفِقْهِ, and this by Allah is fiqh. This is understanding in itself. And he says, أَسْأَلُ اللَّهِ أَن يُفَقِّهْنَا وَإِيَّاكُمْ فِي دِينِهِ. He also makes dua that Allah gives us understanding of His deen. قال رحمه الله في شأن موسى عليه الصلاة والسلام كليم الله ونجيه، يعني لما كلمه الله قال رب أرني أنظر إليك طمع في رؤية الله عز وجل. So he said, as for regards to Musa alayhi salam, the one in which Allah spoke to and saved him, يعني لما كلمه الله, that when Allah spoke to him and he said, "Oh my Lord, reveal yourself to me that I may look upon you." طمع في رؤية الله عز وجل, he had conviction in the capability or the ability to see Allah, that he was convinced, he had conviction, and that is why he asked Allah, because he had conviction within himself there is a possibility to see Allah. لأنه يعلم أن رؤية الله غير مستحيلة وجائزة, because he knows that the sighting or seeing of Allah is something that is not impossible, rather it is possible and capable. فسأل الله تبارك وتعالى فالله قال لن تراني يعني في هذه الدنيا. So he asked Allah and Allah replied with, you shall not see me, meaning in this dunya, in this life. ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني فلما تجلى ربه للجبل. الآية. نعم. So he mentions تجلى للجبل فكيف ما يتجلى لأوليائه في دار كرامته ورضوانه, that he revealed himself onto the mountain. So how is it that he will not reveal himself to his awliya in the hereafter? كما هو أحد الوجوه التي ذكرها ابن القيم يمكن فيها عبارات صعبة نحلها لكم. Yeah, so he says that there's some issues in the sentencing, and that we're going to try to discuss them and to get to the bottom. We'll try to explain it and clarify it further. And then he goes on to mention again the qa'idah that I mentioned to you from Ibn Qayyim. That he mentions it, and like I said before, if there's one thing that we take from today is this qa'idah, this principle, tremendous principle that Ibn Qayyim has come up with. That he said, أنه ما من نص يستدل به أهل الباطل من القرآن أو من صحيح السنة يستدلون به على باطلهم إلا وفي هذا النص ما يدل على بطلان مذهبهم. That there is not a text that the people of falsehood use or bring forward as a proof from the Quran or the authentic Sunnah, that they use as an evidence to support their falsehood, except within that same proof is that which indicates or signifies the falsehood of their way. Yeah, so it refutes them. والتزم ذلك الإمام ابن تيمية رحمه الله قال فأنا ملتزم لذلك أن أبين أن أي نص يستدلون به على باطل من أباطيلهم فإن في ذلك النص ما يبطل حجتهم هذا والله فقه. So then he quotes from Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, the teacher of Ibn Qayyim, that he is also in affirmation of this principle. Yeah, so he agrees with this principle, that there is no text, no textual evidence that the people of falsehood bring forward to try to support their own corrupt and false views, except within that same text is that which refutes them and goes against them, within that same text. And then now he mentions those 7 angles. So he starts off with those 7 angles and brings more clarification to those 7 angles that we've just gone through. So the first one, the first angle, which we already covered, is that it is not thought that the one who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Ar-Rahman spoke to and his beloved messenger, that he would ask his Lord to do something that he is incapable of or is not possible for him. بل هو من أبطل الباطل. In fact, rather it is from the most severe of falsehoods. Then he goes on to explain it. Shaykh Rabī Hafidhullah says يعني أن نظن بهذا النبي الكريم أنه يسأل الله شيئا لا يجوز على الله. That is not thought that the Prophet of Allah would ask Allah for something that he's not capable of. Yeah. Then he mentioned also ويجب أن نصف الله بصفات الكمال. That it is upon us all to describe Allah with perfect attributes, and describe him as his perfect attributes. He mentioned. وقال هنا ما لا يجوز عليه يعني شيء فيه نقص فهل في طلب رؤية الله نقص لله عز وجل لا والله. So when it is mentioned previously by Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah, when he mentioned that something that he is not capable of, yani Musa would not ask him for something that he is incapable of, Shaykh Rabī is saying, what does he mean by incapable of? So here he explains it. يعني شيء فيه نقص. There is something that has a deficiency within it. Yeah, something that has a deficiency within it. فهل في طلب رؤية الله نقص لله عز وجل لا والله. So is requesting seeing Allah something that has a deficiency in it? He said no, by Allah, no. And he mentioned also some requests that he mentioned that are deficient for Allah. For example, he was mentioning that Musa alayhi salam didn't request for Allah to eat or to sleep or to drink, because this is something that is not befitting for Allah. Something that has naqs and a deficiency within it. Drinking, eating and sleeping is something that has a deficiency within it. So asking or requesting Allah to reveal himself to him is not something that is deficient or takes away from Allah in the slightest. So that was the first principle, first angle. The second one, وَوَجْهُ الثاني أن الله سبحانه وتعالى لم ينكر عليه سؤاله. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't reprimand him or reprimand his question, or reprimand him for his question. لو كان محالا لأنكره لكنه ما أنكره عليه قال لن تراني ما قال سؤالك هذا باطل سؤالك غلط ما قال هذا. نعم فقال ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني. That it is not that Allah didn't reprimand him for his question, and if it was something that was impossible for Allah to do or not befitting for Allah to do, he would have reprimanded him, he would have rebuked him for that and made it clear. So he would have said, for example, that this question you are asking me is false, this question you're asking me is wrong, it's an error. But rather he replied with his statement, subhanahu wa ta'ala, but look onto the mountain, and if it remains firm in its place, then you shall see me. فَسَوْفَ تَرَانِي, then you shall see me. يعني في هذه الدنيا, in this world. ولو كان محالا لأنكره عليه. ولهذا لما سأل إبراهيم الخليل ربه تبارك وتعالى أن يريه كيف يحيي الموتى لم ينكر عليه ما أنكر عليه سأله سؤال تقرير قال أولم تؤمن. هذا السؤال تقرير ليس سؤال إنكار. So likewise, when Ibrahim alayhi salam asked Allah to show him how he gives life to the dead, that Allah did not reprimand him or rebuke him for that question. Rather, he asked him as a question back in affirmation, affirming from Iman. He said, قَالَ أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ, do you not believe? But it's a question that is affirmation and not a question that is a negative question or negating from him Iman, as is understood by some. It's not a question that is negating from Ibrahim alayhi salam Iman. Rather, it's a question that is affirmation. It's a su'al that is taqreer, it's affirming. It's not negating. ولما سأل عيسى بن مريم ربه إنزال المائدة من السماء لم ينكر عليه سؤاله. Likewise, when Isa alayhi salam asked Allah to send down the table from the sky, that he did not rebuke him or reprimand him for his question. لأن هذا من الأمور الجائزة الدالة على كمال الله وكمال قدرته. He said, because that this is from the affairs that is capable of Allah to do, and it signifies the perfection of Allah and the perfection of his capabilities. Allah is capable to do these things. فإبراهيم يعتقد أن الله على كل شيء قدير ولكن قال ليطمئن قلبي. That Ibrahim firmly believes that Allah is able to do all things, but he said, so that my heart may be content, or that my heart may be at ease. وإلا هو يعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير فهو يؤمن بكمال قدرة الله سبحانه وتعالى وأنه على كل شيء قدير ولكن أحب أن يرى هذا عليه الصلاة والسلام. نعم, so he believes and that he knows that Allah is capable of all things, and he believes in the perfectness of Allah's abilities and capabilities, and he knows Allah is able to do all things, but he wanted to see this for himself. Yeah, so he wanted to see this for himself. وعيسى عليه الصلاة والسلام سأل الله وهو يعلم ويعتقد أن الله قادر أن ينزل ما يطلبه وهي المائدة من السماء فما سأل الله إلا أمرا جائزا ودالا على كماله سبحانه وتعالى. So likewise with Isa alayhi salam, that he knows and that he believes firmly that Allah is able to do all things and capable of all things, and is capable of fulfilling his request, which is sending down the table from the sky. فَمَا سَأَلَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا أَمْرًا جَائِزًا. So he didn't ask Allah except for something that he is capable of doing. وَدَالًا عَلَى كَمَالِهِ, and something which signifies his perfection. فكذلك موسى عليه الصلاة والسلام. Likewise Musa, ما سأل الله تبارك وتعالى إلا شيئا يدل على كماله وشيئا جائزا. That he did not ask Allah for anything except something that indicates. He asked Allah to do something that indicates his perfection and something that he is capable of doing. ولكن ما يعلم أن هذا ممتنع في الحياة الدنيا. But he did not know that this is something that is unachievable in this worldly life. لأن الله من كماله وسنته في خلقه ألا يراه أحد في هذه الدنيا. Because it is from the perfection of Allah and from his way with his creation that nobody sees him in this worldly life. لأن الله مدح المؤمنين بالغيب فالجنة غيب والنار غيب وذاته وصفاته غيب والله مدح المؤمنين بالغيب الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. Because Allah has praised the believers for their belief in the unseen. Allah has praised them for them believing in the unseen. Jannah is from the hidden affairs. An-nar is from the hidden affairs. Likewise, Allah himself is from the hidden affairs. And his attributes are from the hidden affairs that a person has belief in and conviction in. And Allah has praised the believers for this characteristic, that they believe in the unseen. They have faith in the unseen. نعم. فمدح الله هؤلاء وابتلى المؤمنين بالأمور الغيبية ابتداءً. So Allah has tested the believers with these hidden affairs and these unseen affairs ابتداءً. ليرى من يؤمن وينقاد ومن يكذب. In order to see those who will believe and hold firm and those who would deny. فالكفار كذبوا بالجنة وكذبوا بالنار وكذبوا بالرسالة وكذبوا برؤية الله عز وجل. So the disbelievers, they have denied Jannah, they have denied the hellfire, they have denied the Risala, the message, and they have denied also the seeing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, the third angle now, الوجه الثالث أنه أجابه بقوله لن تراني ولم يقل لا تراني ولا إني لست بمرئي ولا يجوز رؤيتي والفرق بين الجوابين ظاهر لمن تأمل. So this is the third point that we mentioned from Al-Qayyim rahimahullah, that he said that Allah responded to him with the statement لن تراني, that you shall not see me, and he did not say to him that I am not seen, or you cannot see me, and I am something that is not seen, and I'm not capable of being seen. And the difference between them is clear. The difference between the two answers to the question is clear. يعني مثلا, and now Shaykh Rabī explains it further. He's given an example to you to indicate the difference between those two responses. لن تراني, that you shall not see me, and لا تراني, or أنا لست بمرئي, that I am not something that is seen. Yeah, it's not capable to see me. He explains it. He says, لو أن عندك حجرين, if you had 2 stones, وواحد قال دعني آكلها, that someone said to you, let me eat them, تقول له الحجران ما يؤكلان, these 2 stones are not edible, ما يؤكلان, they're not edible. فإذا كان طعاما يقول لن تأكله, see the difference now. But however, if it is food, you would say no, you shall not eat them. Yeah, see the difference between the 2 answers. The first one is that this is not something that is eaten, this is not something that can be eaten. And the second one is you will not eat it, however, there's a capability of you being able to eat it. But I'm telling you that you shall not eat it, you will not eat it. But there's still a capability of you're still capable of eating that. It's still something that's edible. But if it's something that's not edible, I wouldn't say to you, yo, you shall not eat it, or no, you will not eat it. If it's something that's not edible, I'll say to you, it's not something that you can eat. It's not something that's edible. So that's the example he brings. Now, ما يقول ما يؤكل, هذا فرق واضح يضرب له مثل بهذا الكلام. أنت عندك شيء يظنه الإنسان طعاما وهو حجارة, والحجارة ما تؤكل. ما يقال لن تأكله, يقال له هذا ما يؤكل. فإذا قال لن تأكله معناه أنه مما يؤكل. So if he was to say to him that you shall not eat it, you shall not eat the stone, then that necessitates that it's something that can be eaten. It means that it's something that can be eaten in terms of the Arabic language. لن تأكله means it's something that can be eaten, but you shall not eat it, or you will not eat it. However, it's still something that can be eaten. Yeah, so he's given an example to show you that the use of the word lan, when Allah said lan tarani, that you shall not see me, that there is still a capability or possibility of Allah being seen, and it doesn't negate that. It doesn't negate that in any sort of way. And the correct response, if it was a negation, then Allah would have said that I'm not to be seen. It's not capable of seeing me. Yeah, and he wouldn't have responded with, you shall not see me. So that's the difference between the two answers. Now, ولكن موسى لا تحتمل قواه رؤيته في هذه الدار لضعف قوة البشر فيها عن رؤيته تعالى. So Musa is not capable of bearing the sight, or being able to bear the sight or the seeing of Allah in this world, due to the weakness of mankind, like we mentioned previously, due to the weakness of mankind. والله ما أراد أن يراه أحد في هذه الدنيا والله ما أراد أن يراه أحد في هذه الدنيا ويكافئهم في الآخرة. That Allah did not want someone to see him in this dunya, ويكافئهم في الآخرة, and that he gives this to them as a reward in the hereafter. Because how would that necessitate a reward if he can be seen in the dunya? So he wanted to have that as a virtue for those in the hereafter, the believers in the hereafter, that they see Allah. نعم. طيب, then he goes on to the fourth angle, the fourth point. Yes, and we're now explaining the fourth point. وهو قوله ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني. But Allah responded with him by saying, but look unto the mountain. If it remains fixed in its place and firm in its place, then you shall be able to see me. فأعلمه أن الجبل مع قوته وصلابته لا يثبت لتجليه له في هذه الدار فكيف بالبشر الضعيف الذي خلق من ضعف. This one Ibn Al-Qayyim mentioned previously, rahimahullah, that he said that he showed Musa alayhi salam that this Jabal, even with its strength and its might, that is not able to stay firm due to Allah revealing itself onto it. So how about the one who is weaker than the Jabal, meaning a human, meaning Musa alayhi salam, that is weaker than the mountain, and mankind's been created from weakness. نعم وخلق الإنسان ضعيفا, that man has been created weak. الله الذي خلقكم من ضعف, that Allah is the one who created you from weakness. سبحانه وتعالى. وفي هذه الدنيا الجبل لا يطيق تجلي الله له فلما تجلى ربه للجبل جعله دكا. That the mountain in this dunya is not able to bear this, the Allah revealing himself onto it. نعم. والتجلي حصل للجبل ونفس التجلي هذا يرد على إنكار رؤية الله عز وجل فلما تجلى ربه للجبل جعله دكا. So he's saying that Allah actually revealed himself onto the mountain. That Allah did actually reveal himself onto the mountain. So that in itself is an evidence that Allah can be seen, because Allah actually revealed himself onto the mountain. فإذا كان الجبل على صلابته وقوته صار دكا بتجلي الله له في هذه الدنيا فكيف يحتمل موسى عليه الصلاة والسلام ذلك. Like we mentioned previously also, so if the mountain with its strength and its firmness, that if it became leveled due to Allah revealing himself onto it in this dunya, so how would Musa have been able to have taken that burden or been able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala due to his weakness. ثم إلى جانب هذا أن الله أراد أن لا يراه أحد في هذه الدنيا ولذلك أجمع المسلمون أن الله ما يرى في هذه الدنيا. So he said that there is ijma' amongst the Muslims that Allah is not seen in this dunya. And notice that he said amongst the Muslims, and not just Ahl Al-Sunnah wal Jamā'ah, but amongst the Muslims. There's ijma' amongst the Muslims that Allah is not seen in this world only. طيب, now on to the fifth point, الوجه الخامس. إن الله سبحانه وتعالى قادر على أن يجعل الجبل مستقرا مكانه. So this is the fifth angle that Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned, that Allah is capable of making this mountain hold firm, making it firm in its place. Yeah, and then Shaykh Rabī حفظه is now explaining that point. نعم قادر مع تجليه لهذا الجبل قادر على أن يثبت هذا الجبل وهذا أمر ممكن. So he is capable of making this mountain firm in its place. إذن ما دام ممكنا استقرار الجبل لتجلي الله تبارك وتعالى فرؤية الله ممكنة. هذا وجه الدليل منها. So if it is mumkin, if it is possible for this jabal, this mountain, to remain firm if Allah was to reveal himself onto it, then therefore the seeing of Allah in and of itself is also possible, it's also a possibility, it's also capable. أيضا دليل آخر أن الله قد علق الرؤيا به بثبات الجبل. And also another evidence, another indicator of this is that Allah linked the sighting of him to the mountain remaining firm. ولو كان ثبات الجبل محالا لما علق الرؤيا عليه. And if the remaining firm of the mountain, if the mountain remaining firm was something that was impossible, then he would have not have linked it to him being seen. فَتَعْلِيقُهُ رُؤْيَتُهُ عَلَى أَمْرٍ مُمْكِنٍ دَلِيلٌ عَلَى إِمْكَانٍ. So him linking and binding, he's being seen upon an affair that is possible, meaning the mountain remaining in place is possible. Allah is able to do that. That this in itself is an evidence upon this affair being possible, which is seeing Allah. نعم الوجه السادس. So the seventh angle now that Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned. The sixth angle. الوجه السادس, the sixth angle that Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned. قوله سبحانه وتعالى فلما تجلى ربه للجبل جعله دكا. قال رحمه الله وهذا من أبين الأدلة على جواز رؤية الله تبارك وتعالى. As we mentioned before, the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that when Allah revealed himself onto the mountain, it became rendered level. And Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah said that this is from the most clearest of evidences upon the ability, the capability of Allah being seen. Now Shaykh Rabī حفظه is explaining الجواز هنا ليس ما يقابل الحرام. So this word here, al-jawaz, permissibility, which most people translate it as permissibility, here is not that, or this word al-jawaz, which is capability in this context, is not the meaning or the other meaning to it that people understand, which is that which is opposite of haram. So this is haram, this is jaiz. This is prohibited, this is allowed. It's not that meaning here. Yeah, it means that Allah is capable here. وَإِنَّمَا هُوَ مَا يُقَابِلُ الْمُسْتَحِيلِ. It is that which is in opposition to impossible. Yeah, the word jaiz. You're just explaining the word jaiz, jawaz. تقول هذا شيء جائز على الله أي يجوز أن نطلقه على الله ونصف الله به يقابل المستحيل. So if you say that this is something that is jaiz for Allah, that is a capability for Allah, أي يجوز أن نطلقه على الله, that it's okay. It's okay for us. It's permissible for us to ascribe Allah with this. يقابل المستحيل is in opposition to impossible. Yeah. طيب. الوجه السابع, the seventh point and the last angle, the last point. أن ربه سبحانه وتعالى قد كلمه منه إليه وخاطبه وناجاه وناداه ومن جاز عليه تكلم التكليم وأن يسمع مخاطبه كلامه معه بغير واسطة فرؤيته أولى بالجواز. Yeah, so this is the seventh angle that Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned, that we covered before, that if that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to Musa and addressed him and called out to him, and whoever holds permissible for Allah to speak and be spoken to, and that he is heard, yeah, and the one that he is addressing hears his speech without any wasita, without any intermediate, then him being seen is awla bil jawaz, is more befitting to be capable. Yeah, we're going to explain that more in some more depth here now. Shaykh Rabī says, وَلِهَذَا لَمَّا كَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى اعْتَقَدَ أَنَّ رَبَّهُ يُرَى فَسَأَلَهُ الرُّؤْيَةِ. And for this reason, when Allah spoke to Musa alayhi salam, that Musa alayhi salam believed and held firm that he is also capable of being seen, yeah, due to the fact that he's speaking to him. فالكلام والمتكلم يدل على أن هذا المتكلم يراه ولكن ليس هذا وقت الرؤية. وقت الرؤية يوم المعاد وفي الآخرة وفي دار الكرامة. نعم. So فالكلام والمتكلم يدل على أن هذا المتكلم يراه. So speaking and the one who is speaking indicates that this person who is speaking is able to be seen. Able to be seen. Likewise, someone addressed you and you were not able to see him, yet they addressed you and spoke to you. You believe in their existence, that they are there and they're addressing you. Likewise, you being able to see them is more capable, because the fact that they're addressing you in the first place, how are they addressing you and you're not able to see them? It's more befitting that you're able to see them as well, alongside them speaking to you. Now, then he goes on to explain, وَقَالَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْيَهُودِ وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ. As we mentioned before, now he's going to go over it in more detail, that Allah said regarding the Jews that they will not wish for it ever, meaning death. بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ, for that which their hands put forth, yeah, because of their sins, and that which their hands put forth, that they would never wish for death, meaning in this dunya. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا, that Allah's intent here, his meaning here is in the dunya. فَهُمْ لَا يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا فِي هَذِهِ الدُّنْيَا. So in this world they will never wish for death. فَقَالْ وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا, that they will never wish for it ever. أَمَّا فِي الْآخِرَةِ وَهُمْ فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ يَتَمَنَّوْنَهُ وَيَحْرِصُونَ عَلَيْهِ. As for in the hereafter, and they are in Jahannam, in the fire, that they would wish for it. Yeah, that they would wish for it. قال تعالى وَنَادَوْا يَا مَالِكُ لِيَقْضِ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ. As we described earlier, this ayah, وَنَادَوْا يَا مَالِكُ, and they would call out to the angel, لِيَقْضِ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ, that tell your Lord to put an end to us. So therefore they are wishing it. يعني نعم يتمنونه فهم يتمنون الموت في الآخرة, that they are requesting and they are wishing for death in the hereafter. نعم فهنا قال لن تراني وهذا لا يدل على أن الله لا يرى في الآخرة وإن كان لا يرى في الدنيا أما في الآخرة يراه. So this لن تراني, that you shall not see me, is not something that is an evidence that Allah cannot be seen in the hereafter. Even if He is not seen or not able to be seen in this dunya, but He is seen in the hereafter. نعم. So he explains that أنتم قلتم إن لن للتأبيد يعني لن يرى في الدنيا ولا في الآخرة, that you said that this lan, this negation, that you shall not see me, this lan here, again going back to the language, is for ta'bid, is a negation that is persistent, that it will never happen. يعني لن يرى في الدنيا ولا في الآخرة, that he will not be seen, he cannot be seen in the dunya nor in the hereafter. وهذا كذب, so this is a lie. Why? Because the Jews اليهود طلب منهم أن يتمنون الموت فلم يتمنوه, that the Jews, it was requested for them to wish for death, yet they would never wish for it. وأخبر الله أنهم لا يتمنوه ولا يتمنوه أبدا. So Allah, that Allah has revealed to us, has told us that they would never wish for it ever. وأكد لن بأداة التأبيد وهي أبدا. So Allah, like we mentioned before, has used two negations in this ayah. So as affirmed for the first negation, a second negation. First negation being لن وَلَنْ يَتَمَنَّوْهُ. That's the first negation. Second negation is أبدا, that they will never wish for it. So there is two negations within this ayah. So even though there is two negations in this ayah, and in the previous ayah regarding Musa alayhi salam, there's only one negation. قال لن تراني, there's only لن, there's not أبدا. So there's only لن تراني, there's one negation. So even though in this ayah here that's with us there's two negations, وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا, and they shall never wish for death, there's two negations, لن وَأَبَدًا. So even though there's two negations in this ayah, that we when we come across the other ayah, وَنَادَوْا يَا مَالِكُ لِيَقْضِي عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ, they will call out to the angel to tell your Lord to put an end to us. So that they are still, even though there's two negations mentioned in the ayah, it still doesn't apply to the hereafter. It is still only restricted to the dunya, even though there are two negations. So how are they now claiming that this one negation in the ayah with Musa alayhi salam, قال لن تراني, he said you shall not see me, this one negation لن applies to both the dunya and the akhirah, when it's only one negation? And here we have an ayah that has two negations in it. Two negations. Yet another ayah proves that it is only applicable for this dunya and not for the akhirah, even though it has two negations within it. So the point here is that the ayah of Musa alayhi salam, referring to Musa alayhi salam, has only one negation mentioned to it. Ya Ahl Al-Bid'ati wal-Dalalah, people of innovation and misguidance, they say that this is a negation for this world and the hereafter. Whereas this ayah here, this refutation of them regarding the Jews, وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا, and that they will never wish for it ever, has two negations within it. Yet we still find that this is not applicable to the hereafter. Why? Because they're calling out to the angel, يَقَضِي عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ, tell your Lord to put an end to us. So therefore, it's not applicable to the hereafter, even though it has two negations within it. So how can the first one, the first ayah regarding Musa alayhi salam, that only has one negation in it, the lan, only has one negation in it, how can that be both applicable, according to them, linguistically speaking, how can that be both applicable to the dunya and the hereafter? It only has one negation in it, whereas this ayah has two negations in it, and another ayah proves that even with those two negations, it is not applicable for the hereafter, it is for the dunya. وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا, that they will never wish for it, i.e., in the dunya. But in the hereafter, وَنَادَوْا يَا مَالِكُ لِيَقْضِي عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ, they are calling out to Allah to put an end to them. نعم. نعم. 1000 سنة يصيحون كما ذكر في التفسير فيجيبهم بعد 1000 سنة, and Allah will respond to them after 1000 years. يقول إنكم ماكثون, that you are remaining, يعني forever. يعني أحياء تستمرون في الحياة في عذاب الجحيم الدائم, that you are persistent and forever remaining in this punishment forever. وَلَيْسَ هُنَاكَ مَوْتٍ, and that there is no death here. وَمَاكِثُونَ أَبَدًا وَيُذْبَحُ الْمَوْتِ أَمَامَهُمْ, and death is slaughtered in front of them. يُنَادَى أَهْلُ الْجَنَّةِ, is called out to the people of Jannah. تَعْرِفُونَ الْمَوْتِ, do you know about death, or do you know death? يُقَالُ نَعْمٍ, they will say yes. وَيُنَادَى أَهْلُ النَّارِ, and it is called out to the people of the fire. هَلْ تَعْرِفُونَ الْمَوْتِ, do you know death? فَيَقُولُونَ نَعْمٍ, and they will say yes. فَيُذْبَحُ عَلَى الصِّرَاطِ بَيْنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَالنَّارِ حِينَئِذٍ فَلَا مَوْتٍ, and then death will be placed in front of them and slaughtered in front of them, أي أهل الجنة والنار, upon a path in between them, a path in front of them. حِينَئِذٍ فَلَا مَوْتٍ, and after that there is no death. نعم. في الآخر يتمنونه ولكن لا يحصل لهم, so in the hereafter that they are requesting it, they are requesting death, but it will not occur for them. فهذا الدليل يبطل دعواهم في أن لن للنفي المؤبد, so this evidence that it puts a stop to their falsehood, to their false claim, that this lan, this negation, this word here lan, that it is for a nafi that is mu'abbad, that is for a negation that is ongoing and persistent and will never cease, يعني in the dunya, and also applies for the akhirah. ويرون أن الله لا يرى في الدنيا ولا في الآخرة فيقال لهم إن القرآن يكذبكم وأن لن لست للتأبيد كما تزعمون. Yeah, so that they claim that Allah is not seen in the dunya and nor in the akhirah. So it is said to them that the Quran refutes you. Yeah, the Quran refutes you and rebukes you in that regard. وَأَنَّ لَن لَيْسَتْ لِلتَّأْبِيدِ كَمَا تَزْعُمُونَ, and that this word lan is not for a ongoing negation, يعني meaning that is not something that is to be negated in the dunya as well as the akhirah, as you suggest. So that's the end of the first dalil, which is the ayah of Musa alayhi salam, and the 7 points. We're going to conclude here, and after that we can go into a dalil al-thani. It's quite complex, but we'll go through it slowly, inshallah. And alhamdulillah, we have Ibn Qayyim rahimahulah's explanation, and then on top of that we have Shaykh Rabī. So there's 2 explanations. So we're not just relying on Ibn Qayyim's explanation, also Shaykh Rabī is further elaborating for us and explaining it and breaking it down for us, and breaking down those different points. And next time we'll go through the second evidence, and also we'll look into it and analyze it and make istinbat of it, get all of the rulings and all of the ways, like we did with the first evidence, those 7 angles, get all of the angles and the proofs from the ayah, and see and break down and prove that Allah can be seen, and that the believers will see Allah يوم القيامة. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. جزاكم الله خيرا. الله يبارك. إياكم. تفضل علينا أبو بكر. عندك شيء؟
لا شيء.
الله يحفظك. جزاك الله خير.